Okay, hi everybody. We are now live on Facebook. We hope Facebook's playing ball with us today. Obviously, I'm Helen Pritchard from Helen Pritchard Online. Obviously, you know who I am. Always thought if you're on my page. But this is the lovely Suzanne Dinter. Is that how I pronounce it? Who is in my mastermind and is also a hypnosis coach. And I'm going to let you introduce yourself, Suzanne. Tell everybody who you are, what you do, and all that jazz.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good to talk to you, Helen. My name's Suzanne Dinter. I'm a hypnosis coach, which is basically a hypnotherapist who doesn't deal with the medical issues. So I deal with, I help people with confidence, self-belief, getting through blocks or over blocks, and changing old ways of thinking, and all that kind of stuff. And I help business owners and professionals improve their confidence, and get more happiness and success, really.
Can't say better than that, can you? So what I've been digging into in this series is tell me about your crisis point and your pivot point, because I'm guessing everyone's got them. Yeah, do you know what I mean by that? So the crisis point where you're like, I can't do this anymore, and the pivot point when you're like, I'm going to do this thing instead.
Right, well, I've had a number of crises in my life. Kids at school used to shout panic whenever I used to kind of state my opinion about something, like, oh, we need to get back to the coach, on a trip or something like that.
Were you a teacher?
Eh?
Were you a teacher?
No, when I was a kid at school, so all my school friends used to like really take the mickey out of me. And but no, when I was a teenager, I looking back, I think I must have been depressed. And my mum just took me to the doctor, and he said, "Oh, you've just got low iron levels. You just need to take some tablets." And I'm like, right. And then when I left university, I moved to Germany. I'm living in Germany. I've been here half my life.
Oh wow!
And I graduated one day and had my mortarboard on, and the next day I just got on a plane and moved to Germany because that's what I studied. I studied history and German, and I loved it out here. I'd done a semester abroad, met my now husband and all that kind of thing, and friends for life. And I wanted to come out here and speak the lingo a bit better. I loved being here with the people, and I thought if you don't do it as soon as you leave university, then you're never going to do it, because you'll settle down, get a job, and all that kind of stuff. So I left, and I'd already been in Liverpool for a year before university, so that was kind of a crisis point as well, I suppose, because I just decided I can't stand this London life anymore. I'd commuted into town for a couple of years, having the corporate job, and just thought, oh God, is this what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life? My dad had done it all his life. My brother had started before me because he didn't do A-levels. And I just thought, no, I can't carry on like this. So anyway, so after university, I moved to Germany and started completely from scratch. I had my then boyfriend, now husband, around, and a few friends, but it was basically completely on my own. And I set up myself as a business English trainer. I quickly did a TEFL course, like teaching English as a foreign language, just before I left, just in case I didn't get a proper job. And I did that for 17 years.
Oh.
Yeah, right. And anyway, so after a few years of being here, I hit a brick wall. I couldn't get out of bed, was in a right mess. And luckily I had the support of my husband, but he didn't really know what to do with me. So I looked for professional help, and I went to counselling, like psychotherapy counselling, for 2 whole years every week, week in, week out. And I also, I'd hit that point where I just went, I don't care what result comes out of it, whether I move back to England, whether I, cut all my hair off and become a Buddhist monk or something, or whatever. I don't care. I just got to find a solution. I've got to push through this. So I did tons and tons of work myself. And I call that the beginning of my self-development journey. This is like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I got quite good results from that. I'm not quite sure whether it was the psychotherapy or the own work, because we didn't really set any goals with the psychotherapy. It was just kind of like, okay, you're finished now, and I think you can cope on your own. And I'm like, yeah, I think I can. But you don't really know what you've achieved. So I carried on teaching English, but got more and more dissatisfied with it. I was teaching business English in companies, and I was going out there on my own, you know, getting the jobs on my own. I wasn't working for a language school or anything like that. And yeah, it was okay, money and all that, but I just felt more and more dissatisfied with the actual teaching English. It's a bit like banging your head against a brick wall sometimes, you know, when you're doing weekly courses and stuff. So I was beginning to kind of think, oh, the grass is greener on the other side, or maybe I need a proper job again. And I'd also had my second child by that stage, and being freelance and having 2 children was just a bit too much for me. And then in 2011, I had Lyme's disease, which comes from a tick bite.
Yeah.
Quite a few of those around here in Germany, in the forests and stuff. And I didn't even know I'd had it, but the symptoms I had were really quite severe. I was crying all the time. I was sleeping all the time, and I had like an 18-month-old baby. So I was trying to have naps when he was sleeping, and I just couldn't get out of bed, and I was really, really weepy all the time. And I went to the doctor, and he said, oh, you've got burnout, you know, you're a young mother, you're working and all that kind of stuff. And I said, listen, I've had depression before, I know what that is, and this is not it.
Yeah. And
I also had achy joints, which should have been a like massive warning sign for the doctor, but he didn't cotton on to that. So anyway, a friend of mine who's a doctor, she took me into the hospital. Yeah, Lyme's disease. First of all, they wanted me to go into counselling, and I was like, I'm not depressed. I know what it is. I'm not depressed. Just leave me alone. They were saying, are you sure you don't want to come in as an inpatient? I'm like, yep, I'm completely sure. But you're just lying around in your pyjamas. And I'm like, well, I'm in a hospital. I'm in a bed. I'm having a rest. What do you expect me to do? So anyway, half an hour later, the doctor came in with the papers going, right, you've got, you know, Lyme's disease, and put me on a drip, antibiotics. And that's the kind of crisis point, the last crisis point, where I just thought, right, I think your body's trying to tell you something here. You need to do something about it. So I quit teaching English just like that. I had one major client that I was going to a number of times a week, and the courses were kind of naturally coming to an end. I was doing a test with them, so I thought, you know what, this is a great time to stop. So I did. And then I just thought, enjoy the break. The universe will come up with your next solution and what you're going to do next, because I always have to work. I love working. And so then I waited a few months, and then I got a part-time job, and then I got another part-time job to go with it. And so I worked in office jobs for a few years, and then I started getting dissatisfied again, because I was thinking, this is not it. And then 2015, I did an online course for hypnosis for me. So it was an online, it wasn't me to learn how to do hypnosis, but it was a hypnosis course for me. And it really changed my life. And because I was thinking about, right, office job, okay, grass is not greener on the other side. What do you really want to do? I was thinking about, what did I really love about teaching English? Must have been something if I was doing it like for 17 years. And it was actually the people contact. It was being their cheerleader, motivating them, saying to them after they'd had a meeting, you know, they say, oh my God, my English was terrible. And I'd say, well, did the client get what they wanted? And they said, yeah. And I said, did you get what you wanted? Yeah. And I said, that's brilliant, fantastic. You did really, really well. And they're like, oh, okay, but my English wasn't perfect. I mean, it doesn't matter, you know, it's the result that you get is the most important thing. So anyway, so I looked back and reflected, and I just thought, right, that's the part that I really liked. And then I realized that the hypnosis and this people cheerleading, motivating, encouraging part goes really, really well together. So I just decided to train as a hypnotherapist, and I just, yeah, that's it. And I am. So there you go.
Your life then, doing the hypnosis?
Pardon?
How did it change you said it changed your life, but how did it change your life?
Right, well, up until then I'd been a lifelong people pleaser, and never feeling enough, because my dear parents, bless them, especially my dad, I phoned him up from university once in my final year, and I said, Dad, I'm in line for a 2-1, and he said, oh, that's great, but you know you've got to get a first, don't you? a classic, you know. And then I acted all harumph, you know. Well, I might as well just give it all up now, you know. And who gets the first in history? Only boffins get first in history, and I'm having a good time. And so, yeah, it was kind of always, that's great, but,
yeah.
You know, and so you never hear the compliment or the praise.
Yeah.
You only ever hear the stuff that comes after the but. And so that's how it changed my life. It was just like, I had this session, it was just all online and very generic. But it was so powerful still. And I just remember walking down the street the next day going, come on then, give me some criticism. You know, come on, give it to me. I was going to just, deflect off of me, just, just go ping, flying it across the street, because I was just, yeah, right, I'm ready for this now. And you can say anything to me and it will just not bother me whatsoever. And it's just stayed with me. And, so that was the major change. And I just thought, wow, if this is generic, what is it like if you do one-on-one sessions with people and you really hone in on their specific problems and their issues that they want to change and stuff? Wow, it's going to be amazing.
And what is it like?
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I get so energized from my work, and I've changed so many people's lives around. It's just so amazing. And I really felt like I was in my zone of excellence with teaching English.
Yeah.
So I could do it, I could just I could do it and it's fine. I've been doing it for millions of years, and, I get good results and get good feedback and all that kind of stuff. But I just felt drained after it.
Yeah.
And this I find is, right, I found my zone of excellence. This is the one, helping people with their confidence and self-belief. There aren't really all that many people around that would say, oh, sorry, I've got a little bit too much confidence, everybody can do with a little bit more confidence. And those people that seem overconfident is often sort of bravado, and they're hiding something behind it, perhaps.
So those people who are listening thinking, I don't know what these zones are, so that's from The Big Leap?
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's from Gay Hendricks' book, The Big Leap. Yeah. He talks about the zone of incompetence, I think, zone of competence, zone of excellence, and zone of genius.
I mean, did you want out about the spiral? It's like it's a whole new concept now.
Yeah. I always think of things like that now. I talk to my husband about it. He goes, you're a real natural fireman. He likes putting out fires in his business. When somebody phones up and says, oh God, we need this, then he'll just jump in the car and go and help them out. Whereas if he's sitting in the office and doing paperwork for more than 3 days, he'll go absolutely stir crazy. So his zone of excellence is helping people out. Whereas that would drive me crazy because I like a bit of a routine and all that kind of stuff. So everybody's different.
Everyone's different. There's no right or wrong thing. It's just what's personal for you. Yeah, it's my zone of excellence is LinkedIn training. But my zone of genius is mentoring and talking and inspiring people and showing up with myself authentically.
I do a bloody good job doing that.
I do. The zone of excellence is definitely LinkedIn training and marketing in general, but the genius is in that other bit, the bit that actually gets people to take action. I like the way it's got the two things though, because I can give people the tools and then also give them the fuel to get going, definitely. Hopefully, anyway, not everybody, but when people...
Yeah, but they've got to do it themselves, haven't they, as well? You could take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Yeah, of course. A lot of people don't want all that. They just want I just want the training, thanks. And that's fine. As long as they're self-starters and they can do it, that's cool. But lots of people, I've realised over the last couple of years, it's like lots of people need the two.
Yeah.
So what sort of people are you working with at the moment then?
Well, I'm working with a lot of female business owners, but also a few guys. I have absolutely nothing against guys. And I'm working with a guy at the moment who wants more confidence in his business to go out there and with potential clients. He says, I'm confident in what I do, but I'm not confident in the way I put it across to people. So we're working on his confidence there. And I had another guy where he, literally used to physically get a complete wreck before presentations. Yeah. So I helped him with that. I did about 3 sessions with him there, and he's a lot more calm and confident now in doing those things. So, yeah, I've helped a woman. She was really, really had massive social anxiety, and now she's a TV presenter. So
that's a big thing.
Oh my God. Yeah, she's gone from just going red and thinking, oh my God, what am I going to say? What did I just say? And all that, beating herself up afterwards, she's just getting out there and doing it, and she's absolutely loving it.
Those shifts are huge, aren't they? I've had lots and lots of hypnotherapy over the years, but yeah, when you hear about my story of completely agoraphobic, can't leave the house, can't talk to anyone, completely shy, bullied teenager, to like, okay, so who's this person who can't get her off Facebook Live, can't get her out talking to people and organising events and stuff. So shifts labels are just them, aren't they? They are just labels that you put on yourself, or dangerously other people put on you. And I think I've also been through the psychiatric system, and it's got a great place, don't get me wrong, you know, it's fantastic, and medication as well to a point, but it's the beginning. Like I say, when I came out of the Priory, that was the beginning, not the end of my treatment.
Right.
Very much so, isn't it? It's all part of it. It's always, you're always on that journey, I guess.
Yeah, it's a process. I mean, we say therapy is a process. It's not like wave your magic wand and everything's all sorted. A lot of people want that, but the thing in hypnotherapy is you've got to be ready for change. Yeah. Otherwise, you just can't do it. You know, I won't take on somebody who's not ready. They say, "Oh, I think I'll give it a try," and I'll say, "Well, just go away and have a think about it a bit longer." And when you're completely ready, then come and do it. And that's the kind of client that I want and that I like working with, because then you really get the results when you're ready for change. Yeah, that's it. You know, you're more than halfway there. You know, I'm just facilitating you getting completely there to achieve what you really want to achieve. So that's what I love. I like people who really make the decision and just go, right, I'm going to do something about this now. That's the kind of person I am, and that's the kind of clients I'm getting. So that's wonderful.
And that's it. And they're the clients that you manifest to yourself as well when you think out in a certain way. I mean, you know, I don't do a lot of one-to-one, but when I do, it's only with people who are asking me and they're ready, if that makes sense. Kind of like, it's like, it's a no-brainer. They're just like, they're not even interested in how much it's going to cost. They're just like, they just know that they're ready. And that's the kind of one thing you want in all your clients, really, isn't it? Is that readiness for change, whatever it might be.
Definitely, yeah. And with the teaching English, it was kind of like, you know, the students were sent there by their company to, you know, they had their weekly lessons. It's like, well, my boss tells me I need to get to B2 level English, and you're just like, right, so what's your motivation to be here? Well, my boss told me to be here. So, you know, that kind of like, you're like doing a song and dance at the front to try and make it entertaining and good for them. But you can't, you know, you can't make them learn the vocabulary. And they go, but it's enough. I'm dealing with Polish people whose English is worse than mine. So, you know, I don't need more vocabulary. And I say, well, what are you doing here? Well, my job description says I need to have B2. So I'm like, oh, okay, then. So that's what I love about the hypnosis, is because I get motivated people. I don't take on clients who are not motivated. I don't actually do smokers who want to stop smoking. I've decided not to do those. I wanted to specialise more in confidence and self-belief. But a lot of people are pushed there, you know, like, oh, my wife told me I really should stop smoking now. And it's just like, well, I wouldn't take you on as a client anyway, because you're not ready. Yeah.
So how did you come into my world then, Suzanne? How did you find out about
I've seen you around for quite a long time, actually. We're both lucky bees in Denise Duffield Thomas's Money Boot Camp. And I don't know, really. You kept popping up here and there. You're pretty, you know, everywhere, aren't you? And I don't know what it was. I was getting a bit frustrated with Facebook, I must admit. Yeah. Because, sorry, Facebook, but I love you, but I hate you at the same time.
Toxic relationship with a big blow.
Oh, God, yeah. Anyway, so I was getting a bit frustrated with it because I was doing like my daily marketing on Facebook on my business page, and
which is soul destroying, right?
And in groups as well. Yeah, it's just like, you know, and crickets sort of thing, and then in all the different groups. So I was being pretty consistent, because that's my middle name, is consistency, luckily. Okay. And I was being pretty consistent about that, and I was getting a slow trickle of online clients because I've been working locally up until then, and I thought, I want to do this online. And you know, you've only got a finite number of English-speaking clients in Germany, haven't you? So, and I'm in a fairly small city. So I thought, right, I'm moving this online, and I want to work completely online. So I was doing my, you know, being consistent and stuff, and I just thought, and I was a bit burnt out at Christmas, I must admit. I just, my parents were over for a week, and then as soon as they left again, I just crashed with a massive cold, and I did that in the autumn holidays as well. And I thought, something's not working here. And then you popped up somewhere along the line, and I thought, oh, LinkedIn, that could be a solution. And I did your 5-day challenge in January, was it?
Yeah, we did one in November, one in January. So
yeah, I did the January one.
1,400 people one. Oof.
Yeah, and I was just like, bloody hell, this is like whirlwind, unbelievable.
It was.
And yeah, I got so much information out of that, and you so massively over-delivered,
I think.
Over-delivered, that's the one. I was going to say overshare, but that's something different.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of oversharing as well, that's fine.
I know, I used to be, but I used Denise Duffield-Thomas's bean dipping analogy now. If somebody asked me too many questions about my business, I just said, oh yeah, that's interesting. Where are you going on holiday next? You know, what are you doing on the weekend? Just to change the subject. Anyway, that's oversharing. But you massively over-delivered, and I mean, I don't know where you get the energy from, but yeah, well, wow. And I just thought, bloody hell, if this is all free in a week, what the hell do you get in the mastermind? And I was umming and ahhing, and I do think about things rather great detail, because it's a big financial commitment as well.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, right, I've done courses before in the past and not finished them or not got the results that I wanted afterwards. And I thought, geez, you know, I'd already told myself at the beginning of the year, like, no more courses. But I had on my vision board, but I had on my vision board that I wanted to be in a mastermind. And I'd talked to a couple of coaches already, and it was like, you know, hundreds and hundreds of pounds a month, and then commitment for a year. And I'm just like, bloody hell, you know, I'm not earning that kind of money, or I haven't got that kind of money left over at the end of the month to do that. And I still wasn't really convinced. It all sounded very wishy-washy, and we do a bit of this and we do a bit of that, and people at all different levels of their business. And I'm like, it wasn't very convincing. And then the LinkedIn mastermind just thought, wow, it's really focused on one thing, and I can really understand through the free challenge how this can work. And oh my God, it's so much more relevant to me for my business, working with, you know, business owners and professionals than Facebook is, because Facebook is kind of, it's not one thing or the other, is it?
Yeah,
you know, people are using it for business, but it's also, you know, cat pictures and, you know, and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. But, you know, are you really going to get business from that? I don't know. So yes and no. Kind of a mixture is always good. And I've never been an Instagram person particularly. I never really worked it out. I just thought, and you know, Twitter, I've got an account everywhere, but it's just like, you know, things resonate with you or not. And I just thought, LinkedIn, yeah, this is the one that I need to do. And because it's so focused on just LinkedIn, the mastermind, I thought I can really do this. So yeah, I signed up.
And then you get in and you're like, oh, it's not just about LinkedIn. You have to do some tough work for that first week, don't you?
Well, yes, but I'd done things like that in previous courses, so it wasn't new to me about the ICA. I'd changed my ICA, my ideal client avatar, already once since the first course that I did a couple of years ago, and I've dug pretty deep in the last couple of years with that kind of thing, you know, and I'm building my business model how I want it rather than just how it kind of happens to me. Rather, you know, that's how my teaching English business kind of, it just evolved, and it just, you know, and I hit the ceiling where I couldn't do any more hours in the week. Now I'm not leveraging that yet, because I want a few more years of one-to-one before I start thinking about, you know, get the really deep down experience with hundreds and hundreds of people before I then say, right, I'm going on to doing a course, because I want to do, my dream is to do a course on self-hypnosis, how to do self-hypnosis so that people can help themselves, because I think that is the most powerful tool that you can have, is to be able to, is to learn how to help yourself. And I do self-hypnosis every single day. So yeah, so it was just, I completely lost the thread now, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, so this sounded like the thing to do, you know. It was just like, right, this is really honed in. I thought I could leave all the Facebook groups and just ignore Facebook and just apologize to all my friends and that I've been using it as a business platform, but not yet, but soon, hopefully.
No, I don't think, well, I don't know. If I've got to apologise to my friends, and I'll be apologising to a lot of them. So So how did you find it once you got in? So you took you a while to make the decision and then you jumped in. How did you find it on the inside?
Well, I haven't really done all that much apart from about the first week and a half, I must admit. But I am posting it every single day.
Yeah.
And I'm doing more and more videos.
Good.
And I'm just getting more and more visible, to be quite honest. The reason why I hadn't done it was because I was also decided to study for exams for hypnosis, for hypnotherapy.
Okay. Yeah.
So I did my written exam on the 1st of March. I didn't have to do them, but I just thought, no, I want to go to the next level as a hypnotherapist. So I had 5 weeks of intensive learning there. So that was kind of right at the beginning of when the mastermind started. But I'm in for life. So, I take it. Scary.
Yeah, you can't actually get away now. Yeah, we go again in April, so it'll all start again. Obviously, all the new people come in, and it's just, that's what I love about it, though. That is definitely just straight out of Denise Duffield Thomas's playbook. That has always been her business model. That was always the business model that I wanted to do for the mastermind, for a course like that. And I just think it just gives it that really lovely feeling of growth every time. So every launch it grows, but the fundamentals are just exactly the same, and that's what I love about it. Whereas what would Helen do is my membership, so that's like a monthly thing. That's different. That's always evolving, changing, and that kind of stuff. But I love the fact that I had Denise to model my business on, because it just made things so much easier. I was like, all right, this makes sense. I'm going to do this course. Everyone can come in, so God bless her.
She's so amazing. She's so practical and down to earth, and that's very similar to your style as well, which I absolutely love. All these coaches that promise you this, that, and the other, and you're just like, right. I mean, I can see through it now, but when you start your business journey, you're blinded by I want that, and I want it yesterday.
100%, yeah.
But you're just like straight talking. You've got to do the work yourself. Obviously, the bottom line, but you just say, it's just for now, not forever, and all that kind of stuff. And it just so resonated with me, and I just like, breath of fresh air. Well,
I've been in some pretty dodgy industries. I was a recruiter, and then I was in digital marketing, and then online courses. So what can I say? My USP has always been. I don't trust
people like that.
Going into property now. Maybe I'll be an estate agent just to tick everything off the box. But it's just, in a world of idiots and charlatans, it's very easy to stand out. But I know what you mean. At the beginning, it takes a long time, doesn't it, to work out who's who and who's genuine, I think. I mean, 2 years in now, really being deep into this world, I think I'm nearly getting there, but I'm probably still, but I've got a real hardcore of people that I would recommend and that I trust and I like their stuff and stuff. But I've seen lots of people come and go.
Yeah, exactly. And talking about the charlatans and everything, that's what I want to do. I want to stand out from all these, I've done an online course to become a hypnotherapist in 6 days, and I'm a hypnotherapist. It's like, no, how can you possibly be a hypnotherapist? It's a practical skill. It's almost a trade. It's not something that you learn at university. You've got to learn how to put people in trance in person. You can't learn it from a video.
Yeah.
And you need a mentor to be going around checking the way you do things, in class and stuff like that. I had, small class and all that. I hear about these courses where there's 60 people crammed into a room, and they've got the teacher at the front telling anecdotes about their life, and then they go away 9 days later and call themselves a hypnotherapist. Hello. So I want to stand out from the crowd and say, listen, I've done a really, really thorough course. I'm a genuine person. I'm not the kind of hypnotherapist that says, one session for all, regression for everybody, wave my magic wand. It's a process. Hypnosis is a process, or therapy is a process. And you've got to do the work yourself as well.
Yeah.
I'm a facilitator.
Like anything, isn't it? We're all just facilitators, and people have got to be ready to do it. That's awesome. So lovely. So if anybody wants to get hold of you and talk to you about maybe booking in for a session, how does that work? Where can they find you?
Right, well, they can find me on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn/in/Suzanne Dinter, because I'm the only one. Yeah. And I'm on Facebook, Suzanne Dinter Hypnosis. That's my business page. Yeah, I'm the only Suzanne Dinter, it seems, in the world with a Z, SUZANNE. So I'm easy to find. And my website is www.suzannedinter.com.
Nice. There's definitely benefits to having an unusual name on the online space. Okay, lovely. That's great. Okay, fab. So if anyone wants to get in touch with you, they can find you in any of those places. If anyone wants to know more about the mastermind, then just come and speak to me. It's not that difficult to find me. You'll be able to find me somewhere on the internet, I'm sure. Right, thank you very much for being a guest today, Suzanne.
Thank you so much, Helen. It's been lovely talking to you.
On the internet and also in the mastermind. Thanks, darling. See you later.
Excellent. Bye.